wondered how the chaotic frenzy of gold rushes in the 19th century shaped personal fortunes? Picture rugged pioneers, prospectors and adventurers chasing dreams of instant riches across vast and untamed lands. But the gold rushes weren't just about striking it rich. They laid the foundation for economic growth, spurred entrepreneurial ventures, and transformed the wealth dynamics of entire regions. So let's dive into the exciting world of the gold rushes and uncover how these historic events influenced personal wealth, both for those who struck gold and those who missed it. 1. The California Gold Rush, 1848. Our first stop is the iconic California Gold Rush, which began in 1848 when James W. Marshall discovered gold at Sutter's Mill. Almost overnight, the promise of gold turned California into a global destination. By 1849, over 300,000 people had made their way to the region, leading to one of the largest migrations in U.S. history. The dream of quick riches attracted prospectors from all walks of life, but the reality of mining was often brutal, with few striking it rich. What was the real economic impact of the California Gold Rush? It wasn't just about gold. It spurred economic growth through businesses catering to miners, from food to tools. The California Gold Rush led to an explosion of industries that thrived on the needs of miners. Levi Strauss, for example, saw a business opportunity and created durable denim jeans for miners. People who opened general stores, saloons, and supply shops often made more than the miners themselves. The wealth generated from these ancillary businesses was significant, and it helped turn California into a bustling economic hub. The influx of people also accelerated infrastructure development, with new roads, railways, and even the growth of cities like San Francisco, which became a commercial powerhouse. From dreams of gold to thriving businesses, the real fortune lay in the opportunities the rush created. The California Gold Rush wasn't just a local affair. The gold flowing out of the state revitalized the U.S. economy, fueling investments in banking and transportation that would carry the country through its growing pains. California's economy, initially driven by mining, soon diversified into agriculture, real estate, and other industries, setting the stage for long-term growth. The wealth created from the California Gold Rush stretched far beyond gold dust. It helped shape the future of the American West. 2. The Australian Gold Rush, 1851. Next, we venture down under to the Australian Gold Rush, which began in 1851 with the discovery of gold at Summerhill Creek in New South Wales. Much like California, the Australian Gold Rush attracted thousands of immigrants, and with them came transformative changes in society and wealth distribution. The population of Australia exploded, with cities like Melbourne booming as the goldfields beckoned miners from across the world. How did the Australian Gold Rush transform personal wealth? It opened doors for immigrants and locals alike to rise in economic status through mining, commerce, and land ownership. Australia's gold rush was about more than just gold. It was about creating new opportunities. Many immigrants who came to Australia during this period were able to build fortunes not by mining, but by supplying the growing population with goods and services. Those who stayed in Australia found themselves with opportunities for land ownership, particularly as land became more valuable due to the influx of people. The Australian Gold Rush also played a major role in shaping the country's social fabric. For the first time, many individuals who had previously been on the lower rungs of the economic ladder were able to improve their financial standing. The rush created a more fluid class system, where personal wealth could be built through hard work and entrepreneurship, not just inheritance. This change laid the foundation for the egalitarian spirit Australia is known for today. From isolated outback to booming cities, Australia's gold rush built fortunes and forged a new national identity. The impact of the Australian Gold Rush didn't stop at its borders. The wealth generated helped fund public projects like roads, schools, and hospitals, leading to the long-term prosperity of the nation. Australia's economic rise during this period was staggering, and the gold rush ensured its place as one of the British Empire's most valuable territories. The gold may have been buried in the earth, but the wealth it created lifted Australia to new heights. 3. The Klondike Gold Rush, 1896. Our next stop takes us into the freezing wilderness of Canada's Yukon Territory, where the Klondike Gold Rush of 1896 lured adventurers and prospectors from around the world. The Klondike was not for the faint of heart. The journey alone was perilous, requiring travelers to endure harsh winters, treacherous landscapes, and months of grueling labor just to reach the gold fields. However, the potential for wealth was enough to draw tens of thousands of people to this remote region. Klondike. What was the real payoff of this gold rush? Though few miners struck it rich, the service industries that popped up, hotels, saloons, and supply stores, created wealth for savvy entrepreneurs. The real winners of the Klondike Gold Rush weren't necessarily the prospectors, but those who capitalized on the influx of people by providing necessary goods and services. For example, men like Frederick Trump, grandfather of Donald Trump, opened boarding houses and restaurants for miners, making a fortune without ever picking up a shovel. The merchants, supply traders, and transportation services boomed as miners spent their earnings on food, equipment, and shelter. In the harsh Yukon, it wasn't just the gold that glittered. Opportunities to serve the miners became the real treasure. Beyond personal fortunes, the Klondike Gold Rush had a lasting impact on the Canadian economy. The influx of people led to the development of infrastructure in the previously uninhabited Yukon, which helped secure Canada's claim to the territory. Dawson City, once a small outpost, transformed into a thriving community during the rush. Even after the rush ended, the improvements made during that period left a legacy of growth and connectivity. In the end, the Klondike's true wealth was in the communities and infrastructure built to support the gold seekers. The broader impact on personal wealth. Though many hopeful miners came away from these gold rushes with little to show for their efforts, the real winners were often those who saw beyond the gold itself. The entrepreneurs, investors, and business people who capitalized on the booming economies of gold rush regions built lasting wealth that stretched beyond the initial gold rush frenzy. How did gold rushes influence long-term personal wealth? They provided a foundation for future prosperity, creating economic infrastructure, new industries, and a legacy of opportunity. The true legacy of these gold rushes was the transformation of entire economies. Regions that once relied solely on agriculture or basic trade suddenly found themselves at the center of global economic activity. The wealth generated from these rushes was reinvested into railroads, banks, and other essential infrastructure, which continued to generate wealth long after the gold fields were tapped out. And that's the story of how the gold rushes of the 19th century influenced personal wealth, not just for the lucky few, but for entire regions and economies. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the wild history of gold rushes, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more fascinating stories about wealth and history, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Keep discovering with us, and thanks for watching.